All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the October 5th, 2021 instance of the Kubernetes SIG-Windows community meeting. As always, these meetings are recorded and uploaded to YouTube, so be sure to adhere to the CNCF Code of Conduct. We have a pretty short agenda today, so if anybody has anything that they'd like to discuss, feel free to either put it in the chat or raise your hands or add it to the agenda. Afterwards, I mostly just wanted to give a couple of announcements regarding KubeCon. Next week, we'll cancel the SIG-Windows community meeting so people can attend more of the activities for KubeCon North America. But if anybody has anything they want to discuss, just bring it up in Slack and we can work around that. Then I did highlight the two SIG-Windows talks in case anybody's interested in those. The first one is the SIG-Windows maintainer series talk, and for that we'll be focusing on showing demos of the host process containers, and that is setting up a cluster with cluster API bringing in kubeproxy and the CNI via host process containers. And then there's a demo and a lot more details about the dev environments that a lot of folks have been working on. That is Wednesday, October 13th at 11 a.m. Pacific time. The next talk is a talk about service mesh. Service mesh on Windows. There is going to be a demo and some more details about how all of that works. That is on Friday, the last day of KubeCon, at 11:55 Pacific time. So if anybody is interested in either of those topics, be sure to check out the talks either virtually or in person if you're attending. That's really all I had today. I don't know, does anybody have anything they want to discuss, or should we give everybody a bunch of time back or move into the pairing session early? Arvind, it looks like you're turning on your camera. Maybe having audio issues?
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, for some reason, Zoom always resets my my microphone, irrespective of what I do. I just want to call out that I did write up a little doc about the projector volume issue. So I've added it to the chat here. So Jess, I just got an LGTM from David Eads, so he seems to be happy with what I've written up there. I would like someone with, either Mark or James or someone with more Windows background than both me and David to also take a look and make sure what we're saying there is accurate. And if not, we can make changes. I think this goes back to our plan of documenting this somewhere and saying what the expected behavior is, and so that it's there in the doc, so that people don't use projected volumes and assume that things are working as expected in the Linux land.
Yeah, and Muzz or Brendan, we should probably bring this up with some other folks from the Windows Container Platform team as well.
I'll post it on Slack also, Mark, and I'll tag you and James and Muzz, and you can add whoever else to that thread.
Yeah,
Okay.
That sounds good. Thanks, Arvind. Yeah, I'll definitely get someone to review it as well.
Okay, sounds good.
Is the end goal for this, do you think, to put it onto the Kubernetes.io docs somewhere, or would you like to keep it in the OpenShift?
Oh, no, I think I just added it to our repo as a starting point. I think once we finalize this, right, I'm planning on getting it into the OpenShift docs, but we should get it into the Kubernetes docs. And I think, was it Maz or was it Brandon who was talking about whether they should also put it in the Microsoft docs somewhere?
Yeah, I think it's probably worth adding to the MSDN docs as well. So yeah,
okay.
But I'll look at that this week.
Yeah, I don't know whether we can take this and just move it to the Kubernetes docs, but I think parts of this can be extracted and moved into the Kubernetes docs, because I've also called out some OpenShift specific stuff that we did to sort of work around this issue.
Okay.
And the other call we might need to make is if a user has a pod with run as username set and a run as user set, we have a workaround in OpenShift to not call the CHO. I don't know whether we want that in upstream, or we just tell users don't do this combination. The only place I think where users might be affected is if they are running on a cluster that has some admission controller that's just applying run as user without caring whether it's a Windows or a Linux pod. Those users would be affected. So that's something we need to think about.
So I think that this is actually going to get blocked by Ravi's changes to add the OS field. I do remember seeing some validation that if the OS field was set to Windows and number of fields, including the run as user field, were set, the pod will get rejected at admission time.
Oh, that's great. Then we don't have to worry so much about that scenario.
That assumes that they set the OS field to Windows, though.
But isn't it moving forward, Mark? Everybody will be required to set the field OS once the OS
right
field.
now it's optional. Well, I need to double check what the kept status was. While it's in alpha, and I believe while it's still in beta, it will not be required.
Okay.
Yeah.
So once it's GA, I mean, hopefully in the future this problem will go away. In the interim, we should still figure it out. Arvind, good point.
Yeah.
I mean, we still have the problem of the permissions not being set correctly, but that's sort of, you know, a separate thing with the Windows side.
Right.
All right, I'll post this on Slack also, so that Maz and you can forward this to your folks in Microsoft.
Awesome. Yeah, I think this will be super helpful. And then, yeah, we can raise the issue about what should we do if both of these are set for now in the kubelet. If we don't want those to do those ownership or permission changes. Thank you for sharing. Does anybody else have anything to discuss? If not, all right, I'm going to stop the meeting and then we can figure out who wants, if anybody wants to lead the pairing session today. So thank you all and have a great couple of weeks. I hope everybody gets to join and participate in KubeCon. Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, is anybody I probably can't lead the pairing session because I was going to join the SIG node. Does anybody want to stick around and do the pairing session? Should we cancel for this week? Would anybody be able to lead it?
Be happy to stick around, but I don't see some of the regulars.
Yeah.
Is there anybody was planning on joining and wants to do anything, or should we meet up next week?
Or just want to discuss anything for the next 15-20 minutes? Hey Ross, have you been able to see if there was any, find any time to start looking at the cluster testing or those tools?
I've not had the time yet. It's on my list. It's just I'm